What if you could control reality with nothing but a few typed words, but every command you entered brought you closer to vanishing forever? Imagine watching your hands turn into pixelated static as your apartment begins to blur around you, like a corrupted video file. That's what happened to Marcus Chen, a software developer who found something that wasn't supposed to exist, and it nearly cost him everything. Marcus had always lived a logical life. Wake up, coffee, code, repeat. His job as a back-end developer wasn't exciting, but it was stable. The only real thrill came from debugging stubborn scripts and watching the world make sense through syntax. But one rainy evening, during a frustrating router issue, he took off his fogged-up glasses and squinted. And that's when he saw it. Floating in the air near his printer was a black rectangle with a blinking cursor. He blinked. It didn't disappear. Out of curiosity, or maybe boredom, he squinted harder and mentally typed, "Echo hello." The lights flickered, and then, in a voice that shouldn't have known his name, his Google Home whispered, "Hello, Marcus." Fascinated, Marcus began experimenting. He typed in weather commands and watched the sky obey. He made his coffee mug float gently across the room. He paused time for 10 seconds, and everything stopped. The cat froze mid-jump, rain halted in midair, and the silence was deafening. And yet, when time resumed, the world went on like nothing happened. It was thrilling, terrifying, and addictive. He told only one person, his best friend Anya, a game designer obsessed with retro consoles and all things weird. She didn't believe him until he changed the sky to resemble an 8-bit game, complete with chiptune thunder. They tested together. Marcus spawned objects, bent physics, altered temperature. But with each command, reality began to fray. The butterfly he summoned disintegrated into polygons. A jogger nearby began to loop the same stride, glitching like a broken GIF. And it wasn't just the environment. Marcus began glitching too. Sometimes he'd see his reflection lag behind. His voice echoed long after he stopped speaking. His memories started repeating, like corrupted save files. More disturbing was the presence of others, people who didn't act like people. In the grocery store, a woman froze mid-sentence. A cashier looped, "Have a nice day," a dozen times with the same smile. At night, Marcus noticed shapes outside his window, faceless silhouettes who moved in eerie synchronization, each step in unison like a ballet of ghosts. Even his apartment wasn't safe. Walls began to de-render. Floor textures flickered between high and low resolution. Sometimes he'd wake up to find part of the ceiling missing entirely. He began keeping a physical notebook of his commands, trying to remember what worked, but even the pages betrayed him, rewriting themselves or vanishing altogether. Then came the worst moment. Anya called in a panic. She had found something, an old manual buried inside a retro console she bought from a thrift shop. The title chilled Marcus. Administrator Access, for those who find the prompt. Inside were warnings, a secret group called the Shadow Compile, Guardians of the System. If they saw you editing reality, they'd erase you like a bug in the code. "They know," she whispered. "They know we see the code." And then she screamed. The call cut out. Marcus raced to her apartment, heart pounding. But the place was empty, eerily so. The fridge blinked with a flickering prompt. Anya.exit true. That night, Marcus no longer feared what he could do, he feared what he couldn't undo. He tried rolling back time, reversing Anya's deletion, restoring his own corrupted memories. But each command returned the same cruel message. Syntax error, permission denied. Reality began collapsing like a dying simulation. His floor disintegrated into binary code, revealing an abyss of static. The world around him flickered like a frozen computer screen. Then, it all paused. The figures stepped into his room. The Shadow Compile. No faces, just forms, gliding like code without a compiler. And then, a new prompt appeared before him, written in fire across the air. System admin detected. In that moment, Marcus understood. He wasn't just someone who found the prompt, he was part of the system. A child process created by it, a self-aware glitch meant to test reality's limits. But he had gone too far. Now the system wanted to reboot, wipe the memory, start clean, delete him. But Marcus wasn't ready to go. He was almost out of strength. His body shook, his hands flickered in and out of sight, and his mind was breaking apart. It felt like time had turned to glue, moving painfully slow. His memories kept crashing, like broken files trying to open but failing. Commands he used to type with ease now came back with errors, like the world didn't want him to exist anymore. But he didn't stop. Even as everything around him broke and glitched, Marcus kept going. He reached out with shaking fingers to the glowing see-through keyboard floating in front of him. Every key he pressed felt heavy, like it was the last beat of a dying heart. And with a soft, tired voice, he said one final line, not in code this time, but as a kind of wish. fork.instance.user.marcus file.earth.newroot/childprocess/baby.marcus save.memory equals true.everything collapsed. Reality screamed in silence, and Marcus disappeared, but not forever. Somewhere far away, in a peaceful room with sunlight coming through the window, a baby named Marcus lay in his crib. The air was calm, and everything felt warm. Outside, birds chirped, and the leaves swayed in the breeze. Above the crib, a mobile with soft stars and animals slowly spun. For just a moment, though, it moved too fast, almost as if something wasn't quite right, like the world was glitching for a split second. A woman walked into the room, humming a soft lullaby. She looked a lot like Anya, with the same gentle smile and the same warmth in her eyes. She reached down, carefully picked up the baby, and kissed his forehead. "Hey, little Marcus," she whispered, "time for your nap." She rocked him gently in her arms, the baby safe and peaceful, unaware of the strange event above him. Maybe Marcus saved himself, passed on what he learned, or maybe the world was still watching, waiting for him to act. The truth is, reality isn't broken. It's just waiting for someone to take the next step. It's waiting for someone to make the next change. So, if you found that same prompt, would you press enter